Hello and welcome to viewers here to watching us on ERi-TV, presenting you the domestic and international news prepared for this session live from our headquarters in Asmara. I'm Hermela Gramay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. Commendable eye treatment in remote areas. Voluntary blood donation in Asmara. UN says 35 million Nigerians risk hunger. And tensions heighten in Lebanon as government demands disarmament of Hezbollah. And your domestic and brief. Eye treatment focusing on remote areas of the country by Burhan Aini National Referral Hospital has significantly contributed to a decline of the members of the patients visiting the hospital for medication in 2025 by 9%. Dr. Kasaif Sahatzion, medical director of the hospital, said that the number of outgoing patients, which was about 69,000 in 2024, declined to about 62,000 in 2025. Dr. Kasai went on to say that in 2024, eye surgery was performed on 4,848 patients, and in 2025, it increased to 6,723. He also urged the public to take care of their eyes in daily activities with a view to avoiding disease and accidents that could cause blindness. Dr. Kasai also called on parents to conduct regular follow-up on the health of their children and seek immediate medical care in case of observing any problem. Medical experts on their part, noting that trachoma, glaucoma and cataract are among the diseases being observed, called on the public to avoid traditional medication that could inflict more harm. Workers of various government institutions in Asmara have voluntarily contributed 197 units of blood from 17th to 23rd January. According to a report from the National Blood Transfusion Service, staff members of the National Service Training Center voluntarily donated 22 units of blood, members of the National Marching Band 62 units of blood, members of the Office of the President 31 units of blood, and members of the Central Regional Administration 82 units of blood. Mr. Saara Kifle, coordinator of the program from the Office of the President, said that the initiative taken by members of the Office of the President was in continuation of the regular donations they have been making and that they will continue the program in earnest. Noting that donating blood has a double advantage in saving lives through renewable blood and in knowing one's health condition, members of the Central Regional Administration called on all citizens to follow the noble example. Nurse Mahari Abraham, head of blood donation service at the National Blood Transfusion Service, said that as a result of increased public awareness, voluntary blood donation is rising from time to time. He also commended the initiative taken by members of the various government institutions. Dear viewers, stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Nearly 35 million Nigerians are at risk of hunger this year, including 3 million children facing severe malnutrition, the United Nations said on Thursday, following the collapse of global aid budgets. Speaking at the launch of the 2026 humanitarian plan in Abuja, UN resident and humanitarian coordinator Mohammed Malik Fall said the long-dominant foreign-led aid model in Nigeria is no longer sustainable and that Nigeria's needs have grown. The United Nations can only aim to deliver $516 million to provide life-saving aid to 2.5 million people this year, down from 3.6 million people in 2025, which in turn was about half the previous year's level. He also said the United Nations had no choice but to focus on the most life-saving interventions, given the drop in available funding. Shortfalls last year led the World Food Programme to also warn that millions could go hungry in Nigeria as its resources ran out in December and it was forced to cut support for more than 300,000 children. Despite Nigeria's vast natural resources, particularly its oil reserves, security instability has reportedly hindered the countries from capitalizing on these assets. Consequently, data shows that most Nigerians remain dependent on oil-based income. The termination of substantial U.S. aid for social and security sectors under President Trump's administration has further intensified the country's ongoing crisis. Tensions have heightened again in Lebanon as the Lebanese government demanded its disarmament of Hezbollah north of the Litani River amid fears of internal conflict and regional pressures. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun said the army has secured the south and will continue to bring all arms in the country under state control, a move Hezbollah has opposed. The president stressed in a speech on Tuesday that the army has secured the south, removing illegal weapons over the past 10 months, and insisted border authority remains solely with the armed forces to avoid external predicaments. Experts warn that the latest turn of the events could fuel foreign interferences and push the current crisis to a breaking point. A potential fallout between the Lebanese armed forces and Hezbollah is expected to pave the way for further Israeli military advances in the region. Having been engaged in hostilities in Lebanon since 2023, Israel continues to station troops in occupied areas of the country. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now it's time for a quick recap of the major headlines. Commendable eye treatment in remote areas. Voluntary blood donation in Asmara. United Nations says 35 million Nigerians risk hunger. And tensions heighten in Lebanon as government demands disarmament of Hezbollah. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for having us and have a blessed one.